Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Well, maybe you just attract the wrong type of women. Have you thought about that?
So, I hadn't heard that phrase in damn well over a decade. Hadn't heard it. Last time I heard it came from my mom, of all people. And I thought maybe it had been purged. It had gone away. Apparently it had not. I was at a bar. I presume a female friend talking to her male friend. And she actually said, well, maybe you just attract the wrong type of woman. And this is worse than a lie. This is worse than propaganda. This is disinformation, misinformation that leads men who predominantly get this advice to erroneously diagnose a problem that's very important to them that they'd like to solve. And I don't know if you women are aware of this. Men, especially when they're younger, want women. That's the primary motivation. That's why civilization was built. That's why we get up in the morning. It's for women. And so when you lie to a man like this, and that's what and again, it is worse than a lie. It is misinformation. It is sending that man or that young boy down a road where he is going to malinvest his time, resources, and energy, and he is also going to think that there's something wrong with him, that I absolutely had to address this. What's worse than a lie? I'm trying to think. This brainwashing, and it's unconscious. I don't think women do it purposely, because it's only women who say that. This evil, vile misdirection. I don't know what else to call it. We'd have to come up with a whole new word to capture the amount of hatred I have for this canard. It's time to debunk it. So that when you guys search it, because this is what's going to happen, ladies. You've told that guy, well, maybe you just attract the wrong type of woman. They're going to search that phrase. They're going to come here. And I'm going to give you boys the real answer. Now, again, when I take notes, it's very rare, but this means I want to do a thorough job. And let me explain to you why I loathe this excuse. It's not advice, this lie or new word of hatred that I have yet to come up with, right? One, indicates that there is something inherently flawed with the guy, with you boys, that condemns you to attract bad women. It's like, no, it's part of you. It's not like you purposely sought it out. This is not, I don't think any guy consciously went out there and said, I'm going to find bad women. No, when a woman tells you this, it means that there is something genetically wrong and inferior about you. There's something that is inherent to you that you don't control that makes you attract bad women. Now, related, if there's something about you that attracts the wrong type of women, bad women, inferior women, then it makes you think maybe I am wrong. Maybe I am inferior. Maybe I am bad. And this is horrible because it's okay to have some kind of inherent flaw that you don't control, like a genetic disorder, your height, or whatever. But when you say bad women or the wrong type of women, and it's incumbent upon something that you do, you're going to have the guy think, well, what did I do? Is there something wrong? You're going to start having him second guess himself. So immediately start destroying the guy's, I wouldn't say ego, but confidence, destroying his hope. Am I condemned to attract nothing but bad? There's something wrong with me. Oh my God, what did I do? And you're going to send this guy down the road of a hell, to this road of hell, this hellish experience where you're going to hyperanalyze yourself. You're going to constantly think, what is wrong with me? And you're going to try to find something wrong, that flaw, to purge it from your system. And it's going to drive you nuts. You want to know why, pal? So, get down there. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Right? I mean, if you're an alcoholic, or you abuse women, or you're dumb, or you piss away money, or you're a thief, okay, there's something wrong with you. But for the vast majority of men, you're a nice guy. So that's probably what's wrong. You're a nice guy. You're a good guy. And you don't understand. You've thoroughly analyze it. You've interrogated yourself. You've taken thorough inventory of yourself. And you say, I can't find anything. And you almost come to the point you pray there was something wrong with you because then you could identify it and solve it. But like I said, this is worse than a lie. Third reason. Advice is typically given to you when you're younger and you don't know any better. Guys who ask this question are not experienced. They haven't lived or dated enough. They're usually getting shot down by girls. Worse, you're getting stood up. The girls will say yes. Or you've been going out with girls and they're just horrible. They're just horrible. On drugs, dramatic, bipolar, whatever. And the empirical evidence is, yeah, there is something wrong with me. I must have a problem. I must have a flaw. I am attracting the wrong type of woman. And I'm the only common variable, so what is wrong with me? And so when you're a younger, and you get it from your female friends, you get it from your mother, you really start to think, oh, there has to be something wrong with me. There has to be. Because you don't know any better, because older guys will tell you, no, it ain't you, kid. We got the answer at the end. 4. What makes it ultimately worse is the advice invariably comes from women that presumably love you. Like I said, last time I heard this was from my mother 15 years ago. You've probably heard it from your other female friends that care about you, maybe your sister or whatever. And it's kind of like, well, they wouldn't betray me. And you're pretty young when you're getting this information, and they're women, so there must be something wrong with me. Not only am I flawed, I'm probably unconsciously evil, and that's why I'm attracting all these bad women. And so then you really start to take it personally. You're doubly confirmed and convinced that it's you and not something wrong with society. And so you further go down the pit of hopelessness and despair. And it doesn't help you. Another thing, it's defeatist. There's just like, oh, no, that's it. It's just you, and it's inherently flawed. And no matter how much you scour your own personality and your activities and your moralities and your principles, no matter how much it's just something about you, something about your essence, that you are going to be forever condemned to attract the wrong type of women. And since it's defeatist and helpless, it provides no solutions. And that is probably the worst thing. It's like, oh, is that it? Oh, I guess it's too bad. I guess you're screwed. And you know that the most important thing in life, you're genetically programmed to want the most stuff? Yeah, you're not going to have that. Well, I don't know why. Maybe you just attract the wrong type of woman. This just dismissive, throwaway advice. Oh, that's it. There's no solution. No critical thinking. No, my little son Jimmy kept attracting all these crazy women. Now, could it be something wrong with the women that he's attracting, and or is it something wrong with Jimmy? Oh no, it's little Jimmy. Jimmy, I'm sorry, there's just something wrong with you. I wish I could help, but you're just attracting the wrong type of woman. Out of my hands. So what's going on here when these presumed women who love you and care about you in your life give you the advice? All right, number one thing that's happening is this team woman. I think this is unconscious. I don't think your mother hates you. I don't think your friends hate you. I think they care about you. But unconsciously, I've seen it before, women will always default to team woman. Your mother can have you coming up and saying, dude, Ma, I have no idea what I did wrong. You're female. What the hell's going on? They will just say, well, maybe just attract the wrong type of woman. I don't know why that is. I don't care why it is. It is what it is. All right? We could waste our lives trying to figure out why presumed loved ones, female loved ones in your family, will side with women that they don't know over the health, wellness, and psychological health of their sons. But a lot of times they do. I'm not saying it's right. What I'm saying is that is a very common phenomenon where women will simply side with the woman. A lot of you guys may have seen this where you're dating some girl and your mom will just start beating the hell out of you about, you better do this, you better do that, you better do this. There is no concept that maybe you exist. A perfect example. So highlight my mother again. And I love her. I love you. Oh, we're being real harsh on your mom. I'm just pointing this out. There is this gal that liked me, and she was overweight. I'm not physically attracted to her. And she was significantly overweight, but she lost about 40 pounds, which is a fair amount. You got to worry about the loose skin. Maybe that would happen. My mom's like, well, what about her? She's this. She's the lawyer. She makes money. I'm like, yeah, but she's too fat. Oh, my God. She's not too fat. That's team woman. There's no consideration for the fact, I would not be able to get it up for her because I don't find her attractive. My, not desires, not my preferences, my demand, my mandatory requirement that I must be physically attracted to a woman in order to want to date her, let alone have sex with her, completely lost. Even on your mother who loves you and cherishes you. Because it is team woman. So the fact that it's a woman involved, they have this unconscious desire to side with the women. It's not a particular woman, it's just women in general. So they're going to go with that and say, you need to do better. There's something wrong with you. I'm not going to help you find it out. No, I'm just too busy because it's team woman. So that's one thing. They are also too lazy to be constructive, too lazy to sit down and think about it, too lazy to contemplate all the evaluation. And this is one, I wouldn't say necessarily lazy, but there's an element of laziness. It's a very simple assumption to say, well, there's something wrong with you. You are the common variable. You are having problems with all these women. And it can't be that woman, this woman, that woman, that woman. You are the common variable. Therefore, you must be the problem. And they can just kind of like, well, but then they don't entertain the idea, well, wait a minute. What if there are structural, infrastructural, long-term changes in society, problems that are going on, undercurrents that is resulting in a group, nationwide, cultural-wide, problems within a segment of the population? That's too much thought, effort, and energy. And the simple solution is just like, well, there's something wrong with you. But what's worse is, well, I don't know, probably just you. I gotta go water the flowers, or whatever. They move on with their life. And you're just kind of like, oh, thanks. And then finally, there's a conscious or even unconscious. I would say unconscious because I don't think it's malicious on their part. I think everyone's in their own little world. And you got to work, you got to do this, you got to survive. That even when your own son or daughter comes up to you with a problem, a lot of parents, a lot of loved ones, even your friends, just kind of like, oh, that's too bad, dude. They got their own problems to worry about. And I think most people in general, this is not to criticize women or men, friends or parents, I think it's just universal in general. They want to help you. They'd like to help you. They'd like your problems to be solved. But what are they going to do about it? They got their own stuff to deal with, all right? This is why I charge to hear other people's problems, because I have more important stuff to do, like golfing and motorcycle riding and hiking. I would like to go and have fun. I'd like to write a book. This is why I charge. But if they're your friends, they can't charge you. Your parents can't charge you. But that doesn't mean that they don't have other investments and obligations and their time already spoken for. And so instead of sitting down to take the time, because you got to think about that. Why is this one person having a problem with this segment of society? That takes some deep thinking and thought. And unconsciously, I think the brain is like, we don't have time for that. We got really important stuff. He'll figure it out. These are just growing pains. Insert bland general advice, heavily influenced by team woman. Well, maybe you just attract the wrong type of woman. Now off to watering the flowers. La, 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 la. So that's what's really going on. It's not that they don't love you. It's not that they're trying to send you down a path of ruin. It's not that they are making you, they want you to feel like, oh my God, I am flawed. I am handicapped. Something is wrong and evil within me. It's not that malicious. They're just your average human being that doesn't have the time. Just don't have the time. All right. So, in other words, since they're not going to take the time and effort and energy to sit down and really thoroughly think about it, they're preoccupied with their daily routine, you can largely ignore that advice. You can largely ignore it. Right? This was throwaway advice. This was throw shit against the wall and see what sticks, and then move on. Even though it was kind of like getting I wouldn't say a punch in the gut, but getting a real good screw in the mind. We're like, huh? What did I do? But the point is, you can ignore what they're saying. So let me answer the question: why do you see you just attract the wrong type of woman? Let me really explain to you why this is happening, right? The number one reason for you boys why you seem to attract the wrong type of women is that you're going after hot chicks. Every guy wants the hot chick. Some of you will get the hot chick. And if you haven't seen the Hot Crazy Matrix, I know it's kind of funny and everybody laughs. It's very popular, very pop culture-y. It's 100% correct. The hotter a girl is, the easier life has been towards her, and thus the less galvanized and valuable, I'd say, long-term in terms of personality and characteristics she's become. You got a girl who's a 10, she could stand people up on dates. She could treat people like crap. Her dad's going to bail her out. Nothing's too good for daddy's little princess. Women want to be her. Society bends over backwards for her and forgives her for anything and everything. Without having society telling you no, you become mental. You become a psycho. You become bipolar or social anxiety or whatever the latest fad of mental disorder it is today. But you don't get punished. Why? Let's say you stand a guy up. The guy goes, dude, what the hell are you standing me up for? That's unprofessional. That's not nice. You think da-da-da. You think a 10, you think a hot 10 gives a crap. She's got a zillion other guys that when she stands them up, they'll be like, oh, what did I do? Are you all right? And they'll give her money. 9's kind of the same thing. Every guy in the world will bend over and forgive her that she doesn't have to worry about becoming an adult, being reliable, being responsible, being self-supporting. And thus you're dealing with a narcissistic, psychotic, self-entitled child. You're dealing with a spoiled brat. Even if you're not going after 9s and 10s, you go after an 8. 8s are still a little spoiled. It's not until you get into the 7s or 6s, is there a little bit of dose of reality that the entire preponderance of the world does not bend over backwards to give them whatever they want and forgive them from transgressions against the rest of society. So it depends on where you are on the look scale. But heaven help you. Adam Piggott had a great point. Heaven help you if you are a marginally attractive man. Heaven help you if you are a 7 or an 8, because you could occasionally get that 9, and you can get that 8, but you are going to have the snot kicked out of you because they'll always flake out. And you need to be, if you want a 9, you need to be a 10. You want to get an 8, you need to be a 9. You need to be one thing above that girl, one full point above the girl. Otherwise, she'll just, you're not as attractive as her. You can find 1,000. A 9 can find tens of thousands of 8s. But a 9 can only find a couple 10s because the guys who are 10s can also get 10s. Although that just is crazy world when you're dealing with models and celebrities who are all 10s dating each other. Point is, the most simple answer is that when you go after more attractive women, you're going after less mentally stable women. And as a group, society has turned those women into less responsible, less adult, less mature, and more either made up or real mental disorders. In other words, it's not you, it is them. And I've talked about this many times before. The most arrogant but productive assumption that I've ever made in my life, I think I was 25 or 26, was when I realized, what if it wasn't me, but the rest of society? And one of the more universal society-wide things we do to a group of women is we confer benefits on pretty women. We make it easier for pretty women. There's also other nationwide, society-wide things we do. For example, in school, we tell women they're great, they're wonderful. We say, well, do you have a vagina? Well, then you're amazing. You're just amazing. Yeah, that thing that you did nothing. You didn't build it. It just, the chromosome went that way instead of that way, and now you happen to have a vagina. And we applaud and sing praises, and we give awards and scholarships. So that's another universal thing. You could say the you go girlism culture, where every girl is beautiful and you're amazing, you deserve your prince because you're a princess, with no regards as to whether, are you an accountant? Got a job? You an engineer? Did you cure cancer? Are you even pretty, for that matter? You're just a regular fat 5, and you got your women's studies degree, and you go because you're amazing and wonderful and brave. You know the word brave? Brave. That used to mean like you got shot at by an MG-42 at Omaha Beach and you saw your buddies get slaughtered and you still charged up. That was brave. Brave now is like, so I got a degree in poetry. You're so brave. When you have an entire society pampering, brainwashing, in general, making a group of people self-centric, focused on themselves, narcissizing about themselves, constantly appraising and applauding and praising that group of people, they are going to develop an attitude that goes beyond what they are in the real world. And when you try to date them, at this point, talking women, it can happen to any other group of people, but when you have all of society worshiping and singing the praises of women when they really haven't done anything. I'm not saying as a whole that women hasn't, but just because you have vagina, we heap praise upon you, their estimation and their value in their own minds goes up. Also, in never being told no, lectured, disciplined, punished, forced to do something of actual accomplishment that would build character, and above all else, a respect for other people, you're essentially dealing with a nationwide or a nation of spoiled brats. Again, yes, I know there are some many nice, kind women out there. But to point out why it's not you, it's them, that is what is happening. In other words, it's not that there's something wrong with you, there's something inherently flawed with you. The pool of women is that bad. They have been that tainted. There are some good women out there. But you're in this like pond, and you're looking, you want to catch this prize muskie or something like that, when all it is catfish and carp, right? So again, that depends on the pond. That's another one. Maybe you're just fishing in the wrong hole. Like what? The entire United States of America? I'm sorry, I can't date 7,000 miles away into Peru. I mean, you can. I guess people do, but there's that. So that's the larger. That's what's really happening here, boys. Okay, it's not you, it's them. Right? There have been nationwide sociological, political, economics, educational, outright brainwashing and indoctrination that has basically ruined the pool of women for you. Same thing could be said for men, for women. Right? We're not answering that question to that. Women are in the exact same situation because, frankly, all you guys have been brought up to be a bunch of pansified, limp-wristed millennials who don't have jobs, you don't work out, you're not masculine. I know you were told to be that, just like girls were told they're amazing because they have a vagina. But someone wants to pay me for that, then I'll go ahead and put together that video. So, let's look for solutions, okay? Because telling you that maybe you just attract the wrong women, la 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 la, and then you're off, that's not a solution, right? First, stop trying to date the hot girls. Just stop trying to date the hot girls. Date girls that you find attractive enough, all right? If you're an 8, date the 6s and 7s. Ideally, you're in the 6s and 7s world. This all depends on how good looking you are. If you want to date hotter girls, then you got to get yourself to be hotter by 1 full point above them, all right? If you're a 5 and you'd like to date a 7, you need to go work out and become an 8. That may not be possible depending on height and your actual structural facial features, but I think there's a fair amount of leeway given how everybody's just lying around eating Doritos. A man and a woman can hit the gym and increase their looks by at least 2 points. All right, so we can do that. But then when you go date, you do not go after the 9s or 10s. I would even say you don't go after the 8s unless you're a 10. Because the 8s get spoiled enough too. You want to find the 6s and the 7s. All right, the other thing is you want to find the hidden beauties. All right, you want to find the shy girls who are very pretty, but they were never told it, they never believed it, they never subscribed to it, or just whatever, their personalities never made them shy. So you want that kind of the sexy librarian. She's got her glasses on, she looks real nerdy, her hair's all done up, and then in the movie she takes off her glasses, hair comes down. Oh my God, she's bangable. That never happens. It really doesn't. But you can look for that girl. You got to look at their face. Don't go look at the overall, you'll see a girl's overall shape, and she'll be wearing heels and a short skirt, and her hair will be all done up. You'll be like, what? You got to look for the gal that's wearing sweatpants, who's working out, doesn't have makeup on. The plain Janes. Because the plain Janes, they're plain because they don't gussy up. Ask yourself what happened if they gussied up. the story I've told many times before. The gal I took out New Year's Eve 2000, the big millennia New Year's Eve thing. My date was a volleyball teammate of mine. We were just playing volleyball, and she was totally like a dude. She short-cut blonde hair, and she didn't have anyone, all sweaty in the sand, and punching each other's shoulders, and like not an ounce of attraction. And then I wanted to take a girl that I liked, like fun, because I was so sick and tired of dating, the 8s and the 9s. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to waste this cool. I had a ticket to this formal event. I'm not going to waste this on some ditzy blonde. I want to have a good time. I don't want drama. I don't want annex. I don't want the girl getting drunk. I don't want her bipolar. I don't want any of this fucking crap that I had been dealing with up until that point. I want just a nice, enjoyable evening. Drama-free. So I'm like, dude, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take my buddy, like my buddy, a guy. Sadly, I don't even remember her name. Anyway, I'm like, yeah, it's formal. We got to dress up. So I'm going to put on my tuxedo. Then I picked her up. Holy shit. She went from a 4.5, maybe not a 5, but definitely not, but 4.5, to like a 7, 7.5. I'm like, what happened? It's like, you look like a woman. What the heck? What happened? We ended up dating a couple months for that afterwards. But that's because now that was put in my face where you picked her up. You're like, whoa. But train your eye to look beyond the dirt. Look for the plain Jane. Look at what the girl's potential could be. And then say, hey, let's get you gussied up. Hey, buy a girl a makeover. Oh, they love that. Grab a plain Jane. Look, for the $100 or $200 you're going to spend on getting a girl a full makeover, getting her hair done, having a girl put on lipstick or makeup or whatever the hell they do at a makeover. That is a fraction of the money you're going to piss away trying to chase down 8s, 9s, and 10s and then dating them when they're already gussied up and they know they're beautiful. They know they're beautiful. You want to find that quiet girl in the corner who majored in STEM or engineering and just kind of like a nerdy little girl. Like, what would happen if you put on lipstick and I wonder what would happen if you got rid of those glasses. And it's not going to be the librarian with the flowing hair and the glasses and the sexy and like, oh my God, I didn't totally see that coming. 9. But you could take what is in your mind, a 4 or a 5, and you could get her up to a 6 or a 7. And you know what? That's good enough. And then you got a girl that's pretty enough, but above all else, and more important, is a mature adult human being. She will show up on time. She will not have the ahud, or social anxiety disorders, or the bipolars, or the attention. She won't have that. She'll have a job. She'll have a personality and character. She'll have conversational ability. She'll be a pleasant joy to be around. So that's one thing that's kind of changing your pool that you're going to fish in, but stop chasing the hot chicks. Aside from that, I think that's your best bet. You just have to accept that the quality of women are drastically lower than they were back in the day. I know everyone like, oh, the 40s and 50s were racist. Yeah, but at least the women were hot and in shape. And it's not like women's dieting habits or being nice to guys or their social etiquette and decorum has anything to do with racial relations at all. Those are pretty different events. It has nothing to do with it. It's like, hey, we developed not polio vaccine. What did we develop in the 40s? Penicillin. Hey, we developed penicillin in the 40s. Yeah, but the 40s were racist. You just have to accept this is the fact that there is just not that many good gals out there. The quality of women has gone down drastically. Drastically. If you don't believe me, just go look at the percentage of gals that have tattoos. Yes, ladies. Yes, that is -2 points in the men's mind. I know they won't tell you because they're afraid you could call them something. The percentage of millennial women that have tattoos is damn well near half. The percent obesity, again, on both sides. Don't think this is, again, we could talk about men some other time. But the percentage of the population that's obese, the percentage of women that are shaving their head and dyeing that hair over here, piercing their ears, and not ear piercing, but the gauges and the nose piercing and all that. That's, I would say that's not coincidence, but that's real. That's empirical. That's happening in the real world. You can see it. Versus what percentage? Take a look. Take a look. Where is it? Mancini's. I think it's Mancini's. Or maybe it's the Lexington. In one of the nicer restaurants in downtown St. Paul, they have a picture of the Minnesota State Fair, some public event. And you look at the people, you know something about the people? Two things. Nobody's fat, and everybody's dressed very nice. I'm not saying they're formal attire, but women are wearing dresses, men are wearing hats and a suit jacket. Everybody looks a lot better. Now, dude, go downtown, well, not downtown St. Paul, go to Crocus Hill area, go to Victoria and Grand, the hangout area. You're lucky if you got a girl that's wearing her slut shoes and is all whored up, because at least that looks good. But usually women look like guys, guys look like gals. There's nothing to inspire. The quality of men and women have gone down. And we can argue that it shouldn't be that way, but it is, and you need to accept that. So I think you need to lower your expectations, not your standards. You still insist on a good quality girl. But to explain why you attract the wrong type of girl, because that's frankly all that's out there, is the wrong type of girl. So it's not you. It's not you. Unless, again, you have a genuine problem and you want to do drugs and you do needle sharing or you go into the whatever, then you are going to attract the wrong type of girl because that's more the environment that you're in. But if you're, regular good guy Joe and you're just out there and you're getting your degree or you're working hard and you work as a mechanic and you just want to meet a nice girl and your expectations is I'm physically attracted to her and she shows up on time, that may be too high of standards for the current quality and pool of women that we have today. So, all right, want to share that with you boys. If you guys got questions, go to assholeconsulting.com. If you need additional help, tune into the olderbrotherpodcast.com. That's free. You don't have asshole consulting, you've got to pay. But it's still worth paying for the sanity and money and time and agony and pain that you would save over decades of your life. So asshole consulting is very cheap. Some of the highest rates of return you get on that. Check out my books over at amazon.com. What else? There's other stuff, but you guys can find it. It's all in the links down below in the description. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.